Sam, if you can talk to us about, decarbonization and electrification are clearly top of mind to folks within and beyond the industry. What are those things and why are they important?
Decarbonization, electrification are top of mind because the planet has never been under more stress. If you look at virtually every environmental indicator, we are pushing the limits, the planetary boundary limit conditions. You can look at air, water, you can look at biodiversity, you can look across every indicator, and the planet is reaching a maximum stress point. And when we look at the impact of buildings, they account for 40% of global greenhouse gas emissions. And within buildings, heating and cooling are about half the energy use. The other big factor is that buildings are about 75% of all the electricity consumption. So there's no path to a really grounded solution for environmental sustainability that doesn't include really efficient zero energy buildings, low carbon buildings. So this is why we're trying to push the entire building industry, residential, commercial, to low carbon, zero carbon future in the very near term.
Chad, on a high level, how does heat pump technology play into getting us to a decarbonized, net zero, all electric built environment?
So when we think about heat pumps and how they work in this movement that we're talking about, reduction of greenhouse gases, strategic electrification, heat pumps are a critical role at the house level, at the building level. When we think about as we move more towards renewable energy, we have really low carbon electricity come to houses and buildings. Heat pumps are the natural fit to condition buildings. And buildings and homes take up a huge portion of our energy in the United States and worldwide. So heat pumps are kind of that natural solution. So as we make this movement over away from fossil fuel production for energy, we improve the grid. Heat pumps are the key for heating and cooling in homes today.
Tell us a little bit more about why addressing HVAC, why that category plays such an important role in getting us to a net zero electric, decarbonized built environment.
Heating and cooling are so important in our path to a zero energy future because they account for such a significant portion of the total energy consumption in buildings and in homes in particular. The other key factor we have to think about is that as the codes have gotten better and better, each iteration of the International Energy Conservation Code pushes us closer and closer to an effective zero energy ready enclosure. We have this reality that buildings are completely different from the way we used to build them. They're so much more thermally protected. They also have better water control strategies. They have better control of internal mean radiant surface temperatures. So the heating and cooling systems that we used to use in the past that were brute force can be replaced by much more advanced technology electric systems that are much, much better matched to the type of buildings that we build today. And so they go hand in hand with how construction has progressed. And on top of that, we also have to think about how it's not necessary to have to build a gas infrastructure and electric infrastructure for every neighborhood we build. We can get just virtually better user experiences with electric technologies. Why are we putting all this infrastructure? And the thing that's so important about that is when we combust gas on site in our buildings, that is carbon we can no longer capture back. With electric technologies, we can always adapt and use more renewable technologies in generation and really get ourselves to a zero energy carbon future. So heating and cooling has to be addressed, and great solutions like advanced heat pumps are just an important part of the equation.
Tell us specifically about Mitsubishi's heat pump technologies and solutions, and then some of the things that your team is doing to get your solutions into the marketplace.
Today we have products that can work in almost all climates, cold climates included. So it's really, it can be really anything. So it can be from one small wall unit that you might see in a hot spot or cold spot in a house, or a bonus room, but also we do fully ducted whole house systems, whether they're high performance, luxury, all the way up to skyscrapers. So we have a lot of products. They're all extremely efficient, and again, all electric. So, and again, it fits all kinds of different projects. And the team that I head up is we call our performance builder team. We really focus on getting builders to understand the technology, and not only training them on what they may need to consider when building a house, but also we work with the designers to make sure they understand our technology and integrating that into design. We also train their installers. So we can also train their sales agents so they understand our aspect of the high performance home. So really it's a whole approach to the integrated design team to make sure that everyone is on the same page when we design the homes. So we really do a lot. We have a team that really goes out and calls on mostly builders, but we work within the industry. We work with other partners like Department of Energy, with Sam and his trainings, EBA, construction instruction, all to make sure that we have these programs and these trainings to make sure that everyone truly understands how to install these and get the best performance.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Mitsubishi's corporate commitment to sustainability?
Mitsubishi globally has always been very dedicated to sustainability, and we have different goals for every different region. Globally, it is certainly important to dramatically reduce carbon emissions. To have a better presence on the health of the occupant as well as the environment. So it's a core pillar that has been in existence since Mitsubishi started. So for us, our metrics will change, and we will probably get more aggressive on our approach because we do have sustainable systems. We will be changing refrigerants to also improve that aspect of our sustainability. And we'll always try to do things to reduce our day-to-day activities. So the pandemic has actually been pretty good in some ways. It's been terrible in so many, but I think we've all learned to be more efficient and also understand how we can get things done without traveling. And if there's one thing that we could probably understand is to make sure that if we don't need to fly across the country for a 30-minute presentation, we don't need to fly across the country for a 30-minute presentation. So I think there's a lot of ways that we are learning, and we're going to try to set metrics to improve those in the U.S. market. So I can't speak for all the global markets, but for us, it's certainly a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions and to help foster different programs to do as well.
One more question, Sam, for you. You talk a lot about the user experience. Tell us how heat pump technologies and perhaps Mitsubishi's specific solutions help to enhance that user experience.
One area where electrode technology is really going to be really compelling user experience improvement is actually in heat pumps like those made by Mitsubishi. These ductless mini-split systems use advanced inverter driven compressors, and they can throttle up and down at such a precise level they can optimize comfort. Also, the kinds of systems they make, for instance, track when people are in rooms. They can optimize how the comfort is distributed based on where people are sitting. They can operate down to the incredibly low temperatures of -13 Fahrenheit or lower and work in all climates. And what it does is, in addition to creating comfort, it kind of stops the madness of buying a heating system that's gas and a cooling system that's electric and letting one sit idle half the year, the other one sit idle the other half the year as a stranded asset. So I buy a furnace, I only can use it half the time. Whereas with a heat pump, you're getting the maximum benefit from that asset, operating year-round to provide comfort. So these systems are just really special. And again, as I mentioned earlier, when the enclosures are built so much better, the windows, the walls, the attic assemblies, all are optimized. Again, the user experience is going to be better with these systems that are designed especially for low-load homes to get the most out of them. So I see a transition to this kind of technology just because as users, as homeowners, this is such a better solution for us that will make us happier and give us a better experience. And at the end of the day, that's how choices are made. So, that's a great example of just how we can be better with electric technologies.
Chad, do you have anything you want to add in terms of how heat pump technologies add to comfort and performance and really augment the kind of homeowner experience, or why homeowners should even care?
We've talked a lot with builders about why making a change over to our systems, and there are plenty, and homeowners should also consider these too. A lot of this we talk about is certainly thinking about the environment, but that's not really always important to everyone, if we're being honest with each other. But we know it is important. But it also is comfort. We offer so many different types of solutions, and as we've talked about before, our systems do really dial in that specific temperature which is required. We have smaller systems that we can put in places so they only handle a room or a couple of rooms. So when you're designing a house, now you can look at it and say, okay, I've got a lot of solar heat gain coming from this side of the house in the early afternoon. It's going to need more air in the summer, and in the other rooms won't. So usually that would create an uncomfortable situation. So with our systems, we certainly can help designers and builders put together the right system that delivers not only a very efficient house, but also a very comfortable house. And our goal is always to reduce the amount of ductwork. And most of our new construction projects are ducted projects, but we usually try to use methods to reduce the long lengths of ductwork and trunk systems. So we have less opportunity for heat gain or heat loss, but also less chances to trap allergens. So there's multiple things we can talk about that builders should be aware of. Our systems last almost twice as long as a traditional system. So when you look at the long-term costs, you're actually saving. And then again, of course, you're saving every month because our systems are very, very efficient and variable speed and take very little electricity to run.
Well, thank you so much.